So pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 in the United States and in Canada have been just a massive mess. And of course, this has to do with them delaying it because they had to reevaluate the situation with the new tariffs that were put on. And then we heard that tariffs had been taken off, and people were hopeful for the Nintendo Switch 2 to come out soon after that announcement with a new price potentially, but more so a new day for the pre-orders. We still don't know whether the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the same price as it was first announced, specifically in the US and in Canada, as we are hearing many different things here about the pricing and the effects that it could have, specifically now because of tariffs that are levied onto China, and that could have a massive effect on the prices of the producing the Nintendo Switch 2. In fact, when the tariffs were on Vietnam, people had thought that was going to be the major issue, but that isn't the major issue. The major issue here now in terms of the pricing is going to be the tariffs that are on China, as Nintendo was warned to expect 145% tariff on the Nintendo Switch. This comes via Nikkei, and one of the major component suppliers was warned. They say here that the tech giants to expect a large hit when importing goods, namely the Nintendo Switch 2 to the US. Specifically, they do have this to say when it comes to the console, that the consoles are primarily being made in China and a relatively small portion are being made in Vietnam. And that the Nintendo boss, Doug Bowser, has said the firm has spent months shipping hundreds of thousands of Nintendo Switch 2 units to the US already, I guess in preparation for what they were foreseeing was going to happen. But even with that, the tariffs on China, where the majority of these consoles are going to be manufactured, are going to have a huge effect. So we still don't know if the price is going to stay the same. Will it increase? All of those questions are still up in the air, and we don't have a pre-order date in the United States and as well in Canada. But it looks like we could potentially be getting closer to that. As on Blue Sky here, we have Bill Kun, who has put this post out. And if you don't know who this is, this person has leaked a lot of stuff in the past and has gotten a lot correct. Very, very good track record on leaks and things that we can expect an announcement soon in the near future. And he says, upcoming release. From what I can see through some Canadian retailers, Nintendo Switch 2 console and bundle pre-orders should start from April 23rd, 2025. And the date is subject to change. Can't confirm if it's the same for the US, and they'll keep us updated if there are any changes. And I believe there was one change here that was added to this, that for the USA, they say some retailers here are saying that the Switch 2 consoles will be from April 21st or April 30th, depending on the retailer. And then accessories like the Switch 2 Pro controller, April 30th. And then we'll see if there are more updates for that. So the pre-orders for the Switch 2 could potentially be coming next week for both the US and for Canada. One of the things that they said that they wanted to do here was they wanted to align the pre-order dates, which kind of goes against what's being said by this article, by this post here from Bill Kun. If April 23rd is for Canada, that is not going to be aligning with the US pre-order dates, but maybe at the same time, they do want to stagger them so that you don't have American customers trying to get Canadian customer Nintendo Switch 2s, not knowing when their pre-order date is going to be. So we could be getting finally some closure here on when these pre-orders are coming and if the pricing will stay the same or if they're going to raise it. I don't think this is going to go down. It's going to either stay the same or raise, and hopefully everything just stays the same, and they just have to push the pre-order dates in order to just kind of think about the way that they are going to be handling inventory. And when it comes to inventory, there is another thing here that people are going to try to do, which is try to get Nintendo Switch 2s at GameStop themselves, whether that is via the pre-order or showing up the day that the console does launch and trying to get one there. I wonder if they will have some event, maybe a midnight launch or an early opening. I think they did something along those lines with the release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it here for the Nintendo Switch. But apparently there's not going to be very many consoles that are going to be available here at GameStop if you're looking to get it there. According to, they say some GameStop sources, most GameStop stores are expecting around 100 Switch 2 consoles available at launch, but games and accessories will be extremely limited. So this is going to be a limited launch, and it's going to probably be relatively hard to get right off of the bat, simply because of everything that is happening around the world. I was really hoping that the Switch 2 release launch was going to go very smooth. It wasn't going to be as scarce as it was with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, because during the release of those consoles, there were chip shortages. We were in the midst of a global pandemic, so there were a lot of major factors that were hitting the release and the launch of those consoles. This one, it basically is just Nintendo here trying to determine probably how much inventory do they want to ship right now with the current tariff situation, because they go on, they go off, and maybe they're thinking they can just wait it out a bit and then ship more after that once the tariffs are off and once everything has been settled. I feel like it's more that rather than a lack of actually having the units available. So there will be an effect on this launch, and we will see how easy it is to get. I think it will be relatively hard based off of the numbers that we are getting here, but you're gonna have to be on top of your links when the pre-orders do drop, as well as if you want to try to get it in store. That may be a good bet, because a lot of people are just going to be trying to get it online. So if you show up really early to GameStop on the launch day, maybe that's how people are going to be picking up their Switch 2s. I know for me with the Nintendo Switch 1, that's how I got my Switch 1. I literally just went to Walmart at 7 a.m. and picked up my Switch 1, and there was only one other person there besides me picking it up. I don't know how much inventory they had, but I was shocked with the Switch 1 that there wasn't a lineup of some sort when I did get there. So maybe that'll be the case again here. But I think when we were going from the Wii U to the Switch 1, the hype wasn't as big right off of the bat, going from kind of a failure of a console to a massive success, where now everybody knows about the Switch, and there's going to be a lot of people there that are excited to see what the next generation is all about. But I'll end it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.